This is Jordan Tout with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Let's get right into the news. And today we're going to be talking about a time that 50 Cent destroyed Dipset. Let's take this back to around, 2006-07, right around that time. Dipset was unstoppable. You had Cam'ron, Juelz Santana. Jim Jones was popping with Ballin' around this time. He had a slew of rappers like Max B and Stack Bundles and a bunch of other people. Juelz Santana had Skull Gang. Not too impressive with his roster, but Juelz is Juelz. Then you had Cam'ron, right? Well, 50 Cent G-Unit was kind of in shambles around this time because the game was going at them. But they were kind of rebuilding. They had Mobb Deep. MOP joined. Young Buck was soon to go. He was soon to go. He was soon to be a turncoat. Anyways, this is an interesting thing. So, Jim Jones and Juelz felt like they were at a high enough status, even though Cam'ron gave them both careers, right? A high enough status to be informed of every decision he was making. Now, he was paid, Cam'ron, to his credit, was paid to go against 50 Cent to boost sales for things going on at Koch. He was paid by Alan Grumblack like $100,000 or something like that to go at 50 Cent. And he did on the radio. He started going at him when 50 was on the radio. He called in and they were going back and forth talking about because 50 Cent was talking about Koch as a graveyard when Dipset had business at Koch. They had Jim Jones and they had Duke the God. They had their mixtapes over there. So it was a good reason to jump in there and say something. And it was good for both of them because they had a nice back and forth. But what 50 Cent did here, and 50 Cent I think 50 Cent knew about this through Slow, because Slow was still connected to 50 a little bit at the time. And we know later that Slow and 50 just didn't get along anymore. 50 Cent actually put pause on Slow and took his chain and everything, and Slow took him to court. But besides that, Slow at this time was hanging out with Jim Jones and Juelz a lot, and he had a connection to 50 because he used to be down, he's from the same area as 50 and, was part of 50's crew. So he knew that there was problems with Cam'ron, and there was a broken communication between Cam'ron, Jim Jones, and Juelz. Jim was feeling like he was the man. He had Ballin' out, and, it started to go to his head. So 50 Cent knew that, okay, if Cam'ron was to go back and forth, I can easily dismantle Dipset. So he started doing songs where Jim Jones is the one that's popping now. You're not popping no more. It's Jim and Juelz. And, he's making them feel good. And eventually, this is where I was very surprised. Jim and Juelz, which 50 probably banked on, chose to roll with 50 Cent. They both made appearances with him at shows, showed that they're turning their back on Cam'ron. And this is after Cam'ron and 50 had their back and forth. And, with songs. And then, Jim Jones, Cam'ron, and Juelz were just at odds for years. Years later, Juelz and Cam'ron were taking shots at each other. Cam'ron was saying, I can't really mess with Juelz anymore. He's on that syrup, if we know what we're talking about. And that's why his jibs are all messed up. And it was true, but, Juelz said, no, I don't have a problem with that stuff. I never really respected anything with that afterwards because I was like, how do you guys come in this together and not roll together? That's why they lost the verses. They're not unified like the Locks are. The Locks have internal problems, but they don't make them public, And when they're public, it's more of a hit because now the fans know, and it's more of a hit to the ego. When it's internal, nobody knows, and you keep your problems internal. It's just better for solidarity amongst the crew. Now, where G-Unit messed up is they had you've never heard Willie Lloyd Banks, 50, and Tony Yayo being public with each other on their problems too much, you know. But, you know, Young Buck and Game, they were outsiders, you know. So the unity wasn't there, that solidarity. And they really messed up a lot of money, to be honest with you. Game is an idiot. He was going to go against 50 since day one. Jim Jones exposed that. And he messed up potentially, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars that could have been made if G Unit stayed solid. But he was the catalyst to it breaking up. And 50 Cent destroyed Dipset. He helped destroy Dipset with Cameron. They both did that, and you know, that ruined a lot of people's money. It's just so dumb that these crews just come apart. You know, they can say people grow apart all you want, but you got to think about the long game. Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. We'll get to some new news in about an hour or two. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.